A little while back, I asked all of you about ASM artists who had left YouTube. And this post got so much response. I think it's obviously something that we all care a lot about. Seeing our favorite ASM artists leave the platform and never getting to experience tingles from them again. Looking into each of the different stories and a bit into that, it's obviously not what this video is about, but looking at it from that angle, there are lots of complicated reasons why people do end up leaving. There can be cyberbullying, mental health issues, physical health. But the one issue that I guess I would like to see not be a reason that we lose our favorite ASM artists is because of money. And that is the purpose behind this video, is to help you understand the different ways that ASM artists can make money and potentially, I guess, the drawbacks for different ways of making money, particularly in the ASMR space. And also, I guess, what we can do about it. So now, as many of you know, the end of last year, beginning of this year, I became aware of my own desire to become a full-time ASM artist. It took me about 7 years of doing this to realize that, but it's a realization I've come to. And as I got more serious about that, I wanted to dig deeply into the mechanics of how do you actually build a business, how do you make money, etc., etc. Just to be able to get enough money to support myself, in essence. And so this video is the result of some of the research that I did for that. In business, there are basically considered about 12 different types of business models. So I've gone through those 12 business models, and I've selected the 5 that I think are at all really possible for ASM artists. So you think about insurance as a business model. It is not applicable to ASMR at all, really. It would only be applicable as something to have a business to support yourself while doing ASMR. Same thing with capital investment, renting equipment, all these sort of business models. But there are 5 that I think do relate to ASMR. And so we're going to go into those and look at the pros and cons of them from the ASM artist perspective. The first and probably most simple business model that everyone is very aware of is selling a product. So I have a t-shirt, I sell it to you. If I can sell it to you for more than it costs me, I can make a profit selling a product. For me, there can be some relevance to selling a product, a physical product we're talking about here, merchandise, let's say, to ASMR. If I have a t-shirt, something like that for my channel, that could be a product that could be sold and could be purchased. To me, one of the first issues with products is that unless they're really designed to enhance the ASMR experience, which a product created by a creator is generally probably not going to be, it is not really related to relaxation. For me, the whole point of this channel is to help you relax, help you drop into the moment, and to help you feel like you're having moments worth savoring, or helping you create a life worth savoring by having moments of relaxation and hopefully tingles. And I'm not sure that a product is necessary for that as much as long as you're able to access videos, maybe headphones, that sort of thing, you have probably what you need. That being said, my creation Tingledom, I have thought about a little t-shirt that says, "I'd rather be in Tingledom," and I could see selling something like that, but I would never think that is really a primary source of revenue. I would think that's probably minimal, just a little cherry on top type thing. That's never going to be the bulk of revenue. And being conservation minded, worried about this planet that we're on, and the trends of overconsumption, consumerism in our modern society, I do think that selling products can promote overconsumption. It can be not sustainable. And one of the things that really bothers me is that feeling of advertising and creating a desire within you for something that can only be satisfied by purchasing something else, hence the overconsumption. Part of what I would like to do as an ASMR artist is create satisfaction and a feeling of fulfillment in your life with simplicity, not that you need more and more and more. And I think a lot of ASMR artists are like this and not necessarily interested in selling lots of products. Therefore, there's limited applicability of the product, the really basic, most fundamental way of exchanging money between parties that applies to ASMR. So that's the first one. That being said, there probably will be some ASMR artists who are able to support themselves that way. But because of those drawbacks, I do think you will see a lot of people not really going towards that. Which moves us then to our second business model. The second business model is a sponsorship business model. So you see this tons in sports, and it's quite prevalent here on YouTube as well. So a person wants to be associated with you as a person or a brand, and so they sponsor you. You talk positively about their brand or their product, hoping to get your audience to consider this product. Now, I'm not sure how prevalent this is, but because I have personal issues with it, it's something that I could never do myself. When I have experienced sponsorship on YouTube in general, it doesn't bother me that much. But when I've experienced sponsorship combined with ASMR, I find that it takes me out of the video that I am in. So if there's a sponsored message at the beginning of an ASMR video, I pretty much feel taken out of the moment of that video and don't feel like I can actually get ASMR in that video. But the other thing that I've noticed is that it impacts my relationship ongoing with that particular ASMR artist as well. Now, please do not get me wrong. I am not calling out ASMR artists for taking sponsorships, and I don't think that anyone should be bashed or anything negative said about anybody who wants to take sponsorships. As I said, I don't know how common this experience is. I know it's how I feel about it, but I have looked in the comments and I see plenty of people seem very happy about this and are not having that experience. Yes. So it's definitely a model that will work for some ASMR artists where that is, where me, perhaps in the minority, are being impacted that way. But for me and for other people in the community who feel like I do, a sponsorship is not an ideal solution because it impacts your ability to connect with an ASMR artist on that video or maybe on any subsequent videos. So for me, there's a huge drawback to the idea of seeking sponsorships. That being said, I haven't ruled out the idea of 100% of sponsorships. If there was something that I think was very perfect for my particular audience that I think would be really beneficial to them for the purposes of relaxation or that sort of thing, I wouldn't completely discount it, but I am not really somebody who would go out seeking Squarespace or, all these others that you see across YouTube channels in general. It's just something for me that negatively impacts the ASMR experience. And for me, the experience is king above all. And so, if there's something that will impact that, that is not something I am willing to do. And this brings us to the third drawback. There aren't actually a lot of selections for ASMR artists as far as who to get sponsorships from. People come knocking, and probably you would want to accept who gives you that sponsorship if you're looking to fund yourself that way. So for me and for other ASMR artists who feel similarly, this is not a viable option. As I said, I am not trying to cast anything negative on ASMR artists who go that way. I do think it's very viable within the community, but I don't think it's viable for everybody within the community because of those drawbacks. And this brings us to our third business model, and that is ads. Something that is very positive to me about advertising is that it can be placed before a video so that there's an expectation within the viewer that this is separate from the experience coming afterwards. And we're used to this from television, from other YouTube videos, etc. We understand that the person who created this ad is not the same person who is making this video. There's a lot of power in that, and I do think this is, why you see advertising used frequently by many ASMR artists, because an ad playing at the beginning can be a very separated experience from the video itself. That being said, ads within ASMR videos are very limited in application. The use of ads in ASMR videos, the standard is to place an ad at the beginning of the video and no other ads. And you can have videos that are 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 8 hours, and only one ad will play. So that is exactly how it should be, because as I said, my belief is that the ASMR experience is supreme. And the only way to ensure an ASMR experience is by having an ad only at the beginning. If you place ads anywhere else, it will detract and make it perhaps impossible to have that ASMR experience and really get immersed in the moment. So I would never suggest that there should be more advertising within ASMR videos, but I do think it is important important for you as ASMR viewers to understand the limited funds that actually come in because of that. As an example, for my channel, I've had about 3 million views. I've had 35 years of people watching my videos, but the advertising revenue that I have brought in has not covered all of my costs. I have not made a single cent on my ASMR channel. And I am still paying money back to myself for my camera and for my laptop, which I use for doing live streams. So it's important to understand, even with these large numbers of perhaps 3 million views, 35 hours, that we're not talking about enough money to actually really sustain an artist who is getting that sort of views. Obviously, the most popular artists will be supported by that number of ads because these things scale the larger that artists get. That being said, I think that ASMR is very personal, and I think that the most popular channels don't necessarily appeal to everyone, and that if you've found somebody who gives you ASMR, even if they're a smaller channel, quote unquote, then I think it behooves us to make sure that these people feel like valued parts of the ASMR creator community, because I don't want money to be a reason that we lose another ASMR artist off this platform. So we'll get into that in a little bit, but I just want you to understand that unless you're looking at people with, millions of views on each video, that advertising is not really viable as a source of income for that. The other thing that it does, obviously there is a bit of annoyance that comes with how loud ads could be or anything like that. And it is, a bit of annoyance for perhaps maybe not the most gain for the ASMR artist, but I think for some people they feel like that's the only option. And I know for me it was a way to be able to buy a few props and buy a couple things so that I didn't have to be really, really stingy on what I did with my channel. That being said, because if advertising is the way that it is going, it will promote a culture of chasing views. So you might see an ASMR artist where they love what they're doing, but then if they have one eating video that takes off, they may just start turning into an eating channel, because that is how they're able to sustain themselves. And so I think if you have preferences that aren't served by the most popular trends, I'll get to how I think you can help the ASMR community more reflect your desires. But first, we'll get to our fourth business model, and this is selling a service. So if you think about going to a spa to get a massage, that's a service, those sort of things. So in the ASMR space, this would be being able to create a custom video for somebody, or doing a one-on-one session for somebody. These sort of things are definitely something that I think there is demand for within the ASMR space. So there are positives to this particular model. One of, I think, the best things about one-on-one sessions, custom videos, that sort of thing, is that it allows very individual ASMR preferences to be catered to. We all have very specific things that we like in ASMR, and specific things that we dislike. And so when you are doing something that is catered particularly to an individual, you can make sure that you are going to make that person very happy with what they've received. And so I think that is a huge positive of this model. The second aspect of this is that even if you're creating a one-on-one session or a custom video, many people within the community are happy for their videos to be shared publicly as well. And so it's some way to contribute to the community as a whole while also servicing a single individual. There are a couple drawbacks to the services side. One of the primary ones that I think is that the cost can be prohibitive. If you think about, let's say for just a standard ASMRtist, generally releasing maybe 2 or 3 videos a week, that would indicate that's about the amount of time that it takes to create those videos, and that's about the frequency you can do. So if you need to create a full-time income on custom videos, making 2 or 3 a week, they would have to be rather expensive. I think that is a huge drawback, and makes the cost maybe prohibitive for many people. I also think the cost, I'm not sure that the economics actually work out for an ASMRtist to be able to actually put that effort in to make a custom video with that frequency and keep up those number of custom videos. I just think, and I don't think that the demand would be there to create that many custom videos at the price point that it would be. So I think that's a bit of a problem. And personally, one of the things I really don't like about thinking about doing something like that is that I think often the people who I think are in most need of the comfort and the soothing that comes from ASMR are those who are in financial stress, and maybe having money difficulties, and a really expensive service like that is not really appropriate, in my opinion, for the people who perhaps need it the most. And if you're spending all your time on custom videos, you may not actually have time to then be creating the videos that would be accessible to everyone in that way. But that being said, I do see that for some segment of the ASMR community, this could be a viable option for how to support themselves while being an ASMR artist. And that brings us to our 5th and final business model. And if you haven't guessed, this is definitely my preferred business model, and it is a subscription or crowdfunded model. Piggybacking from what we were talking about with services is that subscriptions can be at a price that is accessible to pretty much everyone. $5 to $10 a month is generally affordable to most people. And I'll talk about this a little bit later, but I'm not talking about supporting every single ASMR artist that you follow. We'll get into that. A real positive for the ASMR creator with a subscription model is that it also creates reliability. If you're creating one-on-one sessions and you have a particularly poor month, you may think that you may need to go out looking for another job. Whereas subscriptions will tend to be a bit more evened out because you have more people contributing a lower amount. So if some people hit a hard month, you may have other people coming in to replace them. It makes you feel a bit more stable and like this is something that you can reliably do. And it also allows exclusive content to be the highest quality that the ASM artist can offer. What I mean is, if somebody is creating 10 exclusives a week, as they may have to actually make the finances work for one-on-one sessions, they're going to have to be lower quality. Whereas somebody can spend 10, 15 hours on a single video for an exclusive, and it can be really high quality, and there's no reason that a lot of time can't be taken, because it's this, whole supporter base that is supporting it. So this is my preferred model, and my ideal scenario for the ASMR community as a whole, and what I would like to ask you to do. We can't all support every ASMR artist that we watch. I know that that's impossible for a lot of us, but I think that if everyone would support their favorite ASMR artist, you would put your money where your deepest desires in your heart is. If there is one ASMR artist that you would want not to disappear from this platform, pledge $5, $10 a month to them. Go and see if they have a Patreon, see if they have a PayPal, see if they have a YouTube membership. If you will contribute to them, there is this theory called the 1,000 true fans theory. Essentially, it is that if somebody has 1,000 true fans, they will be able to make a career as a creative. And so it only takes you and 999 other people being a true fan to that person for them to be able to make a career of this, and for you to guarantee that they will be able to financially support themselves and spend as much time as they can on their ASMR for you. If you're just willing to pledge to your favorite creator. Now, I have put my money where my mouth is. It is not a well-kept secret that my absolute favorite ASMR artist is Whispers in Bloom. And I pledged to her back on her Patreon years ago because I really wanted to see her continue to make videos. Now, situations have changed. She's not making videos really at all. I still do actually pledge to her. But I also pledge to another ASMR artist. I pledge to Lottie Loves ASMR. I actually don't watch 90% of her videos, but she is the one person right now who is making videos where when they come out, I have to stop and watch. And that would be her hotel check-ins, her restaurant roleplays. If you know me, I love restaurant roleplays. And so I want to support her in being able to continue to do that. And so I have pledged to her. And so what I would like to go and encourage you to do right now, get that favorite ASMR artist in your mind, go to them, find how you can contribute to them. Again, all it takes is $5 to $10 a month just to them, just one artist. And if I'm lucky enough that that is me, you can just click my join button down below or find it in the description box if you're on Apple. Join me as a Tingledom Hero and let us keep our favorite ASMR artists making videos and creating tingles.